is I mentioned really quick that there was this thing called the Unknown, which was an evil chocolate maker that lived in the walls. I didn't think that was like an actual character. I thought that was basically the Willy Wonka actor was just told to say some random nonsense, and he did. I didn't think that was an actual thing that the people involved with the event had kind of figured out, but I guess I was wrong. There's more to that than I thought. So I guess the thing is that I like I said, I never really saw the Unknown in the actual production. Um, but from what I saw, apparently it was supposed to be some sort of figure in a dark cloak with a silver mask who kind of looks like a horror movie villain. And because of the actress who is playing him, I can't really tell if the character is supposed to be a him or a her or whatever, but the actress was a her. So the person playing the Unknown had kind of long hair, so it kind of looked like a member of Kiss from some angles. So I mean, when I saw it for the first time after hearing about it, it just made me think like, what does that have to do with Willy Wonka? Like, whose idea was that? Did the AI come with that up with that idea that that would be a cool thing to put in this production? I mean, it just looks ridiculous. And I mean, it looked kind. I mean, frankly, the Unknown looked kind of badass when I saw what it looked like. It could have been a cool villain in some other stage show thing, but what does it have to do with Willy Wonka? I mean, Willy Wonka doesn't even really have a villain, I guess, besides Willy Wonka himself. So I don't get what the idea of putting that in there was. But I mean, at least it was kind of better planned out than I thought. Because again, like I said, I thought it was just some random AI thing the script said that they decided to just go with. But no, I guess there was more to it than I thought. So good for them. But anyway, when you go past that, I mean, I feel like you're kind of just taking it to a whole nother level because it's not just some weird adaptation of Willy Wonka. It's like some original script you made that just has characters from Willy Wonka. And from that point on, you might as well just make it your own IP. Couldn't you have come up with some other Willy Wonka type ripoff to do this with to fit all these things in? I don't get what the idea is. I mean, could they really not think of anything that's kind of like the book or the movies to put in this experience so they wouldn't have to put in a creepy slasher horror movie villain? But whatever, I guess. And I think it's good to mention the whole horror relation because I last week I mentioned that there were kids crying at the event, and I said I didn't know if it was because they were so disappointed or because they were freaked out. I think it's been confirmed that at least part of it was because they were freaked out because the Unknown scared children, as you would think it would, and I'll get a little bit into why later on. But I did see a video of it. I was gonna play it on the show, but just the audio. But it's really hard to tell what's happening with the audio only and not the video. So, to tell you the truth, it's just kind of this weird, creepy thing moving around all weird that freaked out the kids. And you wouldn't blame them. I mean, I'd probably be scared by that thing when I was a kid back then. I mean, I'd probably try to kick it in the nuts or something. But while we're on the topic, though, I thought I might as well mention that something I said I didn't know last week, not related to the Unknown necessarily, but just in general, is that I said I didn't know if this was a licensed or unlicensed thing. Well, it's been confirmed now, at least to my understanding. Yes, it was unofficial. It's not like a real thing. So, or I mean, okay, it's real obviously, but it's not like a real Willy Wonka licensed thing. So, at least the Willy Wonka brand doesn't have to worry about this. They're probably busy with enough stuff like planning for another remake, maybe I don't know. So they don't have to worry about all the crap that's getting thrown their way. But back to the Unknown, which is the main reason I was talking about this. Bring this subject back up again. Besides, again, I couldn't think of anything else to talk about. According to Bloody Disgusting, which is, I mean, sort of a weird name for a web source, but it's like, I guess, a horror website or a horror adjacent website, whatever you want to call it. And what basically I saw from that is that they're planning to make a Unknown movie. Yeah, a movie about some meme that's existed for like 1 week. It will be produced by Caledonia Pictures. I might be saying that wrong. So, you already can tell it's not like Warner Bros. Or Disney or whatever. It's not exactly a big studio, but it's someone's making a movie on this thing. And again, according to Bloody Disgusting, and this is from a press release, I believe, on the subject, which is, the plot will be, and I'm quoting now, a renowned illustrator and his wife, who are haunted by the tragic death of their son Charlie, desperate to escape their grief, the couple leave the world behind them for the remote Scottish Highlands where an unknowable evil awaits them. So, I have a few thoughts on that. Well, first I wanted to say, I may see the movie just because of the fact that, I was just thinking about this the other day, but Scotland photographs better than most other countries in movies. Like, I don't know what it is, but when you see a movie that's filmed in Scotland and it's shot well, there's just like nothing that compares to it. It just looks great. So, I mean, I'm glad they're shooting it, on location, if that's what you want to call it, considering the circumstances. I mean, they're going to shoot it just a few miles away, possibly from the scene of the crime where this whole thing was inspired. I really like in the first trailer for them to put based on a true story, but I don't know if they're going to do that. But I was a bit disappointed when I read the plot because I was kind of hoping that it'd be like a Willy Wonka spinoff. But I guess they're not because they want to see what they can do with just this original character of the unknown, or original character from this production that they stole. But I guess that was the reasoning, that there's no Willy Wonka characters, but also because I'm sure getting the rights to use Willy Wonka for this movie would be next to impossible. I think the Willy Wonka brand wants as little as possible recognition to this whole fiasco as they possibly can get. So they wouldn't be so willing to shell the rights over for something like this, I would assume. But, maybe I'd be wrong on that. But also because, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like going under the radar with this Willy Wonka experience and using the characters unofficially would be easier than trying to release a movie and putting it in theaters would be. But, yeah, but at the same time, it's like, how much more can they embarrass? I mean, the Willy Wonka brand is embarrassed beyond repair if it was actually involved with this. They might as well just fork over the rights to let them just do a movie version of what this whole experience basically is. But yeah, the film is also slated to release in late 2024, so this year. So this thing is going to be in production fast. I mean, they're probably going to start filming, if they're smart, within a week. But I think they realize they only have so much time before this whole meme dies, which, I mean, to be honest, it kind of mostly has. I don't think as many people are talking about it anymore as they were last week, especially not as much last week. I'm only talking about it now because, this show only airs once a week, and I had to get these updates out at some point. So, I'm pretty sure no one cares anymore. But the thing with that is that if you're going to make this movie so fast, the only reason for that would be to try to get it out before the meme dies. And I'm sorry, guys, but I don't think anyone will even remember this was a thing by the time the movie comes out. I mean, late 2024 is kind of a broad time scale. That can be as early as, July, I guess. So if they're planning to get it out by then, maybe people will still remember this whole thing. But I doubt it. And it's just kind of seems like a bad idea. And another reason for that is because, I mean, I'm not really a fan of these jokey horror movies that come out, like that Winnie the Pooh movie, where it's taking something that's kind of child friendly and trying to turn it into a horror movie. That Banana Splits movie from years ago, if you remember that, where they're just taking these IPs that they somehow get the rights to, or maybe don't even get the rights to, and doing horror movies on them to twist things up. I'm not really a fan of that genre. It's usually just cheap, and more just the joke is that they're able to do it in the first place. I mean, that was pretty much the entire joke with that Winnie the Pooh one. I mean, I didn't see it, but from what I heard, because, Winnie the Pooh was in the public domain, so that's the first thing they're going to do with it. But it just always kind of feels like it's an attempt to make a fast buck off some stupid meme. But on the other hand, I will say I feel this one's kind of different considering the context around it. And I guess because, the unknown is technically already a horror character, so this is just going all the way with it. So, I don't know, maybe this one could be good. I mean, okay, it won't be good, I just mean entertaining. Because I found some of these other ones just boring and not funny at all. I will say, I will probably see it. I mean, I won't say for sure. That is if I remember it. But I feel like this one will be more bearable than some of the other ones. I couldn't say for sure. Again, not saying it's good, but I'd have to see the costume first. I hope they go as, accurate to real life, or at least what, real life was in this situation as they possibly can. But also on a kind of a related note with the unknown. That's kind of why I said this is a general update where the unknown was the biggest part of it. But there were some other aspects to it. The actress who played the unknown made a series of TikToks discussing her experience. And so, first of all, a lot of this is according to the New York Post, which, again, is not the most reliable source, but this is just what I saw. Apparently, from her words, she was approached by the people putting on the event when she was 16. And she's still 16 now, because, obviously this wasn't that long ago. And I have no idea how they found her at that age. But, I mean, first of all, I'm not alleging anything, but that seems a bit questionable, too, in my opinion. They're looking for actors for this Willy Wonka Chocolate Experience event, and they're getting 16-year-olds. That's seems a bit like, could they not find anyone else to play the role? But anyway, also according to the New York Post, she was hired to play, quote, one of the Wonkas. And I assume by that they meant she was cast as one of the Willy Wonkas, I guess, as if there were more than one. Or at least, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I think they plan to have multiple actors throughout the times they do this whole thing, assuming it was successful and they had the resources to do more than one of these before it just all got shut down. That obviously didn't happen, but I think that was the idea. And, I guess they wanted her to play one of the Willy Wonkas at some point. And I mean, I'm not trying to like, sure, okay, cool, but I mean, is it not weird to her that is it not weird to them that she's a girl, and besides that, she's barely even old enough to legally hold a job. I looked at a photo of her from the TikToks, and it's like, she like, there's nothing. I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with. She doesn't look like super young or anything, but still, is that not a bit weird to them that they were going to have her play Willy Wonka? But like I talked about last week, the guy who actually played Willy Wonka didn't look too much like him either. So who cares? I guess. I mean, he said it himself. I'm not trying to be mean to him, so whatever. I guess it doesn't matter. But apparently, the direction she was given was to quote ditch the script and just act creepy. And I said this last week, but they're using AI, they're hiring teenagers, they're barely using a script. I mean, whoever was running this thing just made it. It almost seems like I gotta almost take my hat off to them. It seems like they made an effort to put the least amount of effort into this whole thing that they possibly could. But more than anything, that's just embarrassing. Why are you even putting this thing on if you don't want to put any work into it? I mean, I know that like entertainment, and I don't want to call this Hollywood. I don't want to dignify it with that. But the entertainment industry, if you want to call it that, is just focused overall on just making money. But it seems so random that they're clearly just focused on making money, but then at the same time they don't even want to put, like, they didn't even choose a very obvious money making scheme. So on some hands I respect it. I mean, on one hand I respect it, on the other hand it's just disgraceful. But also, according to the New York Post, this was kind of a happier thing about it, I guess I could say. She, quote, enjoyed working at the experience, saying that all of her co-stars were lovely and took me right under their wing. And at first I was really embarrassed about it, but when we went into the pub after, we were just laughing about it, and I'm really happy I did it. So, I mean, I give her credit hearing that, because, I mean, it seems like, since this has been such a crappy experience for everyone involved, I mean, for her to look even somewhat positively on it, I mean, I feel like you have to have a good character to do that, so I give her credit. Seems like a good person to look at this at all. I mean, I know it's not like in terms of it was a positive experience, like it's cool those kids got ripped off, but for her to look at it and kind of look at for the bright side of it, because the actors were screwed over too, obviously, to be a part of this whole thing. I guess I give her credit, that she would have a positive experience about it, and also the fact that I kind of alluded to this earlier. I mean, I watched the video and she did the best she could in like acting creepy. I mean, I didn't really see if she has acting experience. I mean, not like movie acting experience, but any sort of acting experience. But she did a good job. I mean, she was probably one of the better actors there. I don't. So good for her. I hope that next time there's a really horrible, weird AI experience thing made off some movie, she gets the top casting. I hope she at least gets a cameo in this new unknown movie, but that's another discussion. But moving on from that, I mean, I would say that I said before that I hope the therapy bills were worth it for this event, for everything that's brought about. And I mean, after seeing all of this, and this is just the gift that keeps on giving, I would say it was. I mean, I don't want to speak for those children, but I don't know. Like, I am willing to speak on their behalf and say I'm sorry about the years of trauma you have from being 50 feet from this event. But I mean, it's bringing us tons of happiness. And to the girl who played the unknown, like, I hope she either gets a cameo or gets those fat residual checks for this movie. I mean, like I said, I think she seems like a relatively good person from the little I know about her. And for that, I give her credit that I think that they should, I mean, I feel like she's the kind of person who would be happy this sort of thing is happening at all, even if she's not involved, that there's a movie based on a character she played in some piece of crap children's theme park thing. But I really hope she gets involved or is compensated in some way. I think that would be nice, considering the life she brought to this role. And if not, then, I guess capitalism really is screwed. What else can I say about it?